Hello, Kimberly learners. Hi. Can you see and hear me okay? If you can see and hear me, please just type in the chat. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are today. I'll give everyone a second to get logged in, but while you do, please type in the chat, where are you from? Okay, so what country are you in right now? I'm in the United States, and my name's Tutor Nicole. Hi, welcome. And today we're doing All About Animals Part 2. Okay. So hello from Bangladesh and Brazil, Paris, Sweden. Hi. Hi from Turkey. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining the session today. Again, just type in the chat, what country are you in right now? Or where are you from? Again, my name is Tutor Nicole, and I'm from the United States. And today's session is going to be about Animals Part 2. Hi from Bangladesh. Welcome. Hi. Hi, welcome. Okay, I'll give us another second to log in. Again, guys, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're at. Last Sunday, we did All About Animals Part 2. So it's been 6 days since our last session, and today is going to be All About Animals Part 2. And so we're going to review what we learned in the last session and then learn some more about animals. Sound good? Awesome. Well, again, my name is Tutor Nicole. I'm a tutor on Cambly. If you don't know what it is, it's an online English platform where you can learn English with native English speakers. So welcome, everybody, and we will get started with our session today. So again, it is going to be all about animals part 2. Who here watched my session last week? If you watched my session last week, just type in the chat, I was on your session last week for All About Animals Part 1. If so, this question's for you. What did you learn from last week's session? So I know it's been 6 days since All About Animals Part 1, but what did you guys learn from last week? You can just type in the chat, what did you learn from last week? Yeah, we learned about farm animals, what they sound like. Anything else? Okay. So from last week, we learned this. Give me an example of an amphibian. So again, give me an example of an amphibian. This is a type of animal. So what animals could an amphibian be? Okay, some examples. Yes, frogs, toads, etc. That's an amphibian. Very good. My next question, what is a mammal? If you know what a mammal is, describe it. I'll give you guys a hint. Humans are mammals. So what is a mammal? Hi. Yes, a mammal does not lay eggs. It's warm-blooded, and it typically has hair. And so an example of a mammal would be elephant, giraffe, humans, dogs, cats, etc. Yeah, elephant. Very good. Okay, what is a carnivore? Can you describe in the chat what is a carnivore? carnivore. I'll give you guys a hint. This is something that describes what animals eat. So, what do carnivores eat? Okay, a carnivore, yes, carnivores eat other animals, they eat meat. They do not eat vegetables, they eat meat. Okay, so we have carnivore. What is an omnivore? Omnivore. I would say a lot of humans are omnivores. An omnivore eats meat and plants. Okay, so an omnivore eats both. Okay, carnivore only meat, omnivore eats both. If we know that, then we should know what is an herbivore. Herbivore. What is an herbivore? What do they eat? Yes, herbivores only eat plants. They do not eat other animals. They do not eat meat. An herbivore only eats plants. An example, humans, we call it vegetarian, right? Okay, my next question, let's type in the chat for this one. What is your favorite animal and can you describe it? So, for example, I might say my favorite animal is an elephant. An elephant is big and gray and has a trunk. An elephant, I believe, is an herbivore or an omnivore. So, can you describe your favorite animal? Okay, your favorite animal is a peacock. Yes, peacocks are very beautiful, super colorful. Yeah, your favorite animal is a cat because it's cute. That's true. They're so cute. Bears. Okay, my favorite animal is a lion. It's a carnivore. Very good. I like alpacas. I think they're herbivores. Crocodiles. Okay. My favorite animal is a cat because it's loyal. Penguins are super cute. Nice. Great job. All right. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to learn about some special names. Did you guys know that some animals have special names if they're males and females? So in English, not only do we have the name of an animal, but we also have a separate name to call the male or female animal. Is it the same in your country and your language? I'll show you guys some examples. Here we have the general names. Here's the male name and the female name. So for example, a chicken, a chicken, the male is called a rooster, and the female we call a hen. Yeah, Hussein, that's a really good example. We have a lion and a lioness. Yeah, the same in your country. Okay. I'm learning some of these as well. Some of these I didn't know before. But a cat, a male is a tom, and a girl is a tabby. I did not know that. For deer, we have a buck and a doe. For goat, we have a billy and a nanny. For lion, we have lion and lioness. So isn't that interesting? Hi. So another interesting thing is that they have special names for the parts of an animal. So like in English, we say these are our hands, but for an animal, they might call them paws. And so we'll learn that vocab. The first one is going to be antlers. Antlers are the horns of a deer, elk, moose, or reindeer. So again, that's called antlers. Antlers are like this part of a deer or an elk. Another vocab word is the word beak. This is a beak, and it is the hard pointed shell around the mouth of birds. And so they use their beak like this to pick up worms and food. That's beak. Our next vocab word is the word claw or claws. For humans, we call them nails. And for animals, we call them claws. What animals have claws? I don't know. Claws are hard, sharp nails of the feet and hands of animals and birds. So birds have really sharp claws. Lions have sharp claws. Cats, right? Those are the claws. Yeah. Have you ever been scratched by a claw? Scratched. So I have a dog, and a lot of the times the claws scratch and they hurt, right? This is a new one for me. This is called a comb. Comb. Not comb, but comb. A comb is the bright red flesh on the head of roosters. So it's like up here, and it's the red flesh on the roosters. Yeah. That's a comb. We have fins. Fins are the thin, flat, webbed projections from the body of a fish for movement. So again, it's a sea creature or a sea animal. They have fins to help them swim. Yeah, sharks have fins. What else has fins? Fish have fins. Dolphins. Another word is flippers. Flippers, there's another name in English, and it's a type of shoe, but this kind of flippers are the arms or legs of sea animals like dolphins or seals. And these are flippers. They're like super cute. So instead of arms or hands, we call them flippers. Yeah. Fur. Instead of hair, for animals, a lot of times we call it fur. That is the thick hair that covers animals. So a cat, instead of saying the cat has hair, we would say the cat has fur. Fur. The dog has fur. Yeah. And to describe someone who has a lot of hair, you could say like the cat is really furry. Furry, furry. The next word, singular is hoof, plural is hooves. This is the nails that horses, deers, and cows have. They're again called hooves. It's kind of like nails, but it's not a claw. And it's really hard and big. Again, they're called hooves or a hoof. I really love this word. This word is mane. Mane kind of describes the hair on a horse. It kind of goes down their back. And it's the long hair that grows on the head and shoulders of a lion or a horse. A mane also describes the big hair around a lion. Yeah, that's a mane. This one's really cute. It's paws or a paw, paws. These are the hands of animals that walk on all four legs. So dogs, lions, and monkeys, they have paws. So instead of hands and feet, we call them paws. Yeah. Puppies' paws are so cute. Yes. Pouch. A pouch, this is like the stomach part. It's the pocket that kangaroos have. Kangaroos live in mainly Australia, and they have a pouch. It's like the pocket where the baby lives in a kangaroo. That's a pouch. We're going to learn one more thing, and then we have a game. There are names to describe groups of animals. So in English, not only do we call them groups, but the name group changes depending on what the animal is. So in English, we might call it like a group of humans, but for animals, they use a word different than group. And tell me if it's the same in your language. For example, we have a bed of clams. This describes a group of clams, but they call it a bed of clams. For ants, they say a colony of ants. For chickens, goats, geese, and ducks, we call it a flock of chickens, a flock of geese, a flock of goats. So we do not say a group of goats or a group of chickens, we say a flock of chickens. Clams, they are sea creatures. They live kind of in a shell, and then they have meat inside. That's a clam. Some more interesting group names. A mob. So for kangaroos, they call it a mob of kangaroos instead of a group. A pack of wolves or a pack of dogs. And then last but not least, we have a school of fish. So if there's a lot of fish, you don't say a group of fish, you say a school of fish. Okay? Any questions so far? No? All right. We're going to play a game, and I'm going to have you guys guess or name that animal. So I'm going to describe an animal, and just type in the chat what animal you think it is. Okay? So this animal says moo. It's a farm animal, and it loves to eat grass. What animal is this? Yes, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It is a cow. Yes, very good. And I see some of you guys are joining now, and that's totally okay. If you want to rewatch this lesson, after we end this lesson, you can go to the YouTube channel and watch it from the very beginning. Okay? Next question. This is an animal that says ruff, ruff. A lot of people have it at home as a pet, and this animal has 4 paws. I think they're very cute. Yes, this animal is a dog. Yeah, good. Yeah, this next animal, they say oink, 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 oink. It's a farm animal, and sometimes it's pink. Yes, this is a pig. Very good. This animal says neigh, neigh. It's a large mammal, and they're very fast. Sometimes humans ride these animals. Yes. This is a horse. Horses in English, we say that the horses say neigh, neigh, neigh. Good. This next animal says meow, meow. They also say purr, P-U-R, purr. It is a domestic pet, and it sleeps a lot. Yeah, this is a cat. Very good. The small version of a cat is named a kitten. Yeah, good. Okay, this animal says quack, 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 and it's a type of bird. What animal is this? This is a duck. Duck. Awesome job. Thank you. Okay, so that is the rest of that game. And now we have a little bit more to learn. Did you guys know that there's special names for the type of meat of animals? So those of you that are omnivores, you eat plants and meat. We have special names to call the meat of certain animals. So, like for example, a cow. If we ate a cow, we would call it beef or steak. So a calf is a young cow, and we call this meat veal. So again, this is a young cow, a baby cow. We call this meat veal. Good. For cow, we call it beef. Beef. Deer, we have a lot of deer where I live. We call it venison. Deer, the meat is called venison. For pig, we call it pork. Pork. I did not know this one. For sheep, we call it mutton. I've never eaten sheep before, but it's called mutton. Yeah, mutton. Now, this describes a lot of things, but the word poultry describes domestic birds. So like chicken is poultry, turkey and duck is poultry. So chicken, turkey, and duck, you call this meat poultry. Poultry. And a lot of times they have like a section in the grocery store named poultry. Our next word is seafood. We call seafood the meat of any animal in the sea eaten as food. So this could be shrimp, squid, or fish. So we have a lot of restaurants called seafood restaurants, and they serve the meat of sea animals. Okay. Our next thing we're going to talk about is pets. So I'm curious, in your country, what are common pets to keep in your home? In my home, we have a hamster, so like a little mouse. And that is our pet, but it's really common in America to have dogs and cats as pets. What is common in your country to have as a pet? Again, a crocodile. Really? That's pretty cool. Yeah, so common ones for us would be like dog, cat, fish, or turtles. Yeah. I feel like when you're a kid, a lot of times your parents will give you a fish to take care of because it's easy. Very cool. That's a great joke. The joke. What's a cat's favorite color? Purple. I love it. Cute. Yes, Michael, that would be scary to have a crocodile as a pet. That would be scary. Yeah. Parrots, that's a common pet. Okay. Let's talk about exotic pets. So we had pets, which were common pets, pets you see everybody have, dog, cats, fish. People also have exotic pets. So the word exotic is like different, okay? Some exotic pets, yes, someone might have a monkey as a pet, snake, hedgehog, or tarantulas. Tarantulas are those big spiders. And the hedgehogs are really pointy. But these are exotic pets. So in your country, does anyone have any exotic pets? Yeah, a leopard. So it's uncommon or less common to have exotic pets. This would be great for you to say crocodile, right? That's a very exotic pet. A tiger, that's pretty cool. Okay, we're gonna learn about something new. There are names of the homes where animals live. So for example, where humans live, we call it a house. So for humans, we live in a house, but for animals, there's different names for where they live. Okay, so for ants, they're the tiny, tiny bugs that crawl everywhere. Ants, we call their home, instead of a house, we call it a colony or a hill. Colony or hill. Bats, they live in a colony or a roost. Yes, birds live in a cage if they live at home. Yeah, good. Beaver, they have the teeth. This is a beaver. They live in a lodge. Yeah, bats also live in a cave. Yes, a bat cave. Yes. Okay. For bees, what do you think we call bees? Bees live in a hive. Hive. Bear, fox, and lion, they all live in a den. Den. Yes. For birds, mouse, rats, and wasps, we call it a nest. A nest. Good. For a mole lives in a tunnel. Tunnel. A rabbit lives in a burrow. Rabbit lives in a burrow. And I think you guys can guess this one. Where does a spider live? What's the name of the home of a spider? A spider lives in a... Can anyone get it? Yes, a web or a cobweb. Nice. A web. Good job. All right, we're gonna learn about another thing. Did you guys know that there's special names for baby animals? What example can you think of when I say that there's names for baby animals? Bear, cub, cat, kitten, dog, puppy. Okay, again, there's special names for baby animals, and we're gonna learn about them. So, for a bear, a lion, tiger, wolf, or fox, we call it a cub. So the baby version is called a cub. Yeah. For cat, the baby is called a kitten. Kittens are so cute. Kitten or kitten, kitten. For a cow, whale, elk, moose, or elephant, we call it a calf. And calf is also the name of a part of your leg, which is interesting. So it has two names, the part of your leg and a baby cow, baby whale, baby elk, calf. For deer, they call it a fawn. A baby deer is a fawn. Fawn. For dog, the baby is called a puppy. Dog, puppy. Duck, the baby is a duckling. Duckling, it's a baby duck. Duckling. A baby fish is called a minnow. Minnow. A baby frog is a tadpole. Tadpole. A baby goat is called a kid. Baby goat. kid. Kid is also the name for a child. A child is also a kid. For pig, we call it a piglet. Pig is piglet. Yeah. Horse, the baby, is called a colt. Colt. Okay. Do we have any questions so far? If you have any questions, please just type in the chat and I'd be happy to answer. Yes, these are very fancy terms. So far, we've learned that an animal could have a male or female name, the name of where they live, the names of the babies of animals. Okay, all clear, no questions? I don't know the baby for an ant. I do not know. If you know, let me know. Sometimes if they don't have a name, they'll just call it like a baby blank. And it's fine if you call a dog a baby dog instead of a puppy. You've got very good jokes. And colt. So you do pronounce the L, but it's colt, 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 colt. You do pronounce the L. Yeah. All right. Well, it is time for some trivia. If you know me and my sessions, you know I like to have games. So we're going to play trivia. And we are going to test ourselves. So if you know the answer, just type it in the chat. Okay, first trivia question. How do you call a baby cat? What is a baby cat? Okay, make sure you got your spelling. A baby cat is a kitten. Kitten. Good. Number 2. What do you call a baby deer? This one's hard. What do you call a baby deer? A baby deer. It starts with the letter F. Anybody? Yes! Good job. A baby deer is a fawn. A fawn. I used to love fawns growing up, and my email address was Dancing Fawn because I just loved fawns. Yes, a baby deer. They're so cute. If you've ever seen the movie Bambi, Bambi is a fawn, right? A cute deer. What do you call a baby dog? This should be easy. What do you call a baby dog? A baby dog is a... Anybody? Yes, a baby dog is a puppy. The plural is puppies. Yeah, puppy or puppies. Puppies are so cute. Good. What do you call a baby bear? What's the name for a baby bear? A baby bear is a cub. Yeah, a baby bear is a cub. Good. Next question. What do you call a baby pig? A baby pig is called what? Good. Yes, a baby pig is a piglet. Piglet. Yeah. If you think about it, just add L-E-T to the end. Think of it as little, piglet, pig little, piglet. Yes, I think piglets are so cute. Yes. You are right. Yeah. Okay, our next round is you have to say the name of where certain animals live. Okay, so where does blank live? Where do ants live? Where do ants live? Remember, for humans, we call it a house or a home. What would you call where ants live? Okay, you're correct. Yes, ants live in a hill or in a colony. If you've ever heard the term ant colony, it's exactly where ants live. It's an ant colony. Mhm. Very good. Where does a fox, lion, or bear live? This is a hard one. Where does a fox, lion, or bear live? Any guesses? They live in a den. Den. Mm-hmm. Good. They live in a den. Okay, this one should be easy. Where do bees live? Where do bees live? Yes, bees live in a hive. A lot of the times they call it a hive or a beehive. And what can you find in a beehive? Delicious honey, right? I love honey. Where do birds live? What do you call the home of where birds live? Yes. Awesome. Yes, birds live in a nest. Awesome. High five. Yeah, they live in a nest. Now, our last section is what is the name of the meat? So, we learned that animals have special names for their meat, right? So, what is the name of the meat that you eat of these animals? Okay. What's the name of the meat that you eat for a cow? Yeah, the meat that you eat for a cow is called beef. Beef. Good. What is the name of the meat that you eat for shrimp? What would you call what you eat for shrimp? For shrimp, you would call this seafood. Remember, I was talking about going to a seafood restaurant? If you go to a seafood restaurant, you can eat anything from the sea. Yeah, seafood. And think about it too. If you go to the grocery, they have a session called seafood session. Yeah, good. What do you call the meat of a pig? The meat of a pig is called what? Yeah, the meat of a pig is called pork. Pork. This is a hard one. What do you call the meat of a calf? Remember, a calf is like a baby cow. What do you call the meat that you eat from a calf or a baby cow? It starts with the letter V. Nice. I'm impressed that you guys got this. Yes, this is called veal. Veal. All right, that concludes our session of trivia. How did you guys do for the trivia? Did you guys get them all right? Yeah? Good. Well, please let me know if you guys have any questions. I will give you guys a minute to ask any questions. But that concludes our session for today. Again, today was all about animals part 2. And All About Animals Part 1 is also on the YouTube channel from last Sunday. We have a question. What is trivia? So, trivia is like a game where I ask questions and you answer them. What do you know? That's trivia. Um, let's see. Okay, any questions for me? All right, I do have a promotion code for you guys today. If you go to Cambly and you type in the promo code or promotion code Go Live, this can get you up to 36% off of your yearly subscription. You could also click the link in this YouTube video. That'll take you to the promo code so you can get up to 36% off of your yearly subscription. My favorite is poultry. I love chicken and turkey. Yeah. Aiden, trivia is just like a quiz. Any other questions? Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining the session today. Again, if you guys came late and you did not get to see the whole video, after the session's over, you can watch it from the very beginning. Same with my last session from last week, which is All About Animals Part 1. But other than that, thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody. Of course, bye. Have a good day. See you.